thank everybody for coming out all evening. Know your faces. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay. With that, I'd like to open privilege of the floor on any of the items on the agenda. Okay. And without that, then I've asked our assessor to update us on the property reevaluation program. So, and what you'll need to do is, Dennis, can she borrow your mic? You got to talk in the mic. That's how they record it.
I haven't touched it.
No, we'll use one of these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that you don't believe it, you're an attorney, you know?
Like,
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. Hey, Joanne, take my mic.
and the only reason being is that's how we record it.
I'd like to comment on what she said.
You take that mic home with you.
We're talking to an empty stage.
Yeah, sure.
Joanne, could you scoot to your left a little? Thank you. Joel, I don't have a microphone, so don't film. Then don't say anything.
Okay.
So you have a form before you. Our project management has been ongoing. Bob goes onto the computer. We have that set up in the back room, and I see him on there almost daily. He's currently working on land tables. So
How far along do you suppose it is this? We're talking about our consultant who works remotely. How far is he right on schedule?
He is totally on schedule.
Okay.
Our photos, we're lacking about 500. John's working on, and I'm not going to blame this all on John because it isn't all his fault. I mean, the weather has been awful. On top of that, the county has had several problems uploading them into the RPS system. But they will be done, I would say, within the next month. I'm hoping.
Now this is calendar year 10. What about for 11?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
what I'm talking about.
okay.
Let's see. We got many data mailers returned, and we are working on that during, the course of a business day. You may have to come in 1 or 2 Saturdays to finish it up, because presently we're also working on our 2011 assessment roll. So, and all of our exemptions have to be in by March 1st, which, it's just the nature of the business, that March 1st is sort of from that point on until we get our tentative roll completed is an extremely busy time.
Now, let me ask you a question. I was talking with Bill today and about Jennifer's. He said she hadn't been over there for a while. And he said as soon as, I said, well, let Joanne know. Is this something you need data mailers? Can she do that versus having people coming in on Saturday if she did that 2 days a week or something?
Well, yes, she could.
Okay. Well,
if I could get her to come in there. I mean, it was my understanding that she's supposed to be working a half a day in my office if part of her salary is coming out of my...
You know what? Here's the point.
Yeah, I mean...
I talked to Bill today, and he said she hasn't been there because you haven't asked.
That's not true.
Okay. So, the point I'm trying to make...
I haven't asked Bill, I asked Jennifer.
Okay.
And a few times she did come over.
Okay.
She comes over at 2 or 2:30 and leaves by 4 or 4:30. And that's not a half a day.
What I'm looking at is that was one of the things we talked about and I think you and he can work this out. I'm just trying to save money by not working Saturdays.
Okay.
Because,
That's fine with me.
Okay. So if you'll get with Bill on that one, because I asked him today specifically, when's the last time she was over there? It's been a few weeks.
It's been a month or so.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I said, and I haven't seen her there, so I said, okay, let's get on with this. And,
Okay. I don't have a problem.
Very good.
She's a very good worker.
Oh yeah, she'll do a good job. Okay.
Basically, that's all I have to say. I mean, we've worked on sales. As you know, I went to Newburgh for our PDC meeting, which has to do with our equalization rate and our residential assessment ratio for 2011. So the next busy time, as far as the reevaluation is concerned, would be in June. Bob will have all the tables set up for me, and we'll use the month of June to go over them. Then he'll create the values, the tentative values, and starting July, because July 1st is when my final roll is prepared for the public, and grievance is over with. That's the final roll. Then I'll start going out in the field with all the data that Bob has produced for me and placing values on everything within the town of Goshen.
How long will that take? 4 months, 5 months?
I'm not really quite certain. I have down
Just start July 1st, I guess it's...
about 5 months I have. Right.
Do you see anything on here so far, other than the photos that we have time to make up? Anything to showstopper that's going to prevent us from... Okay.
We're right on schedule, and I'm pleased. I really am with all the ups and downs this past year. I'm pleased where we're at.
Good. Sounds good to me. Board, any questions? Super.
Okay.
Do you think you'll be able to do all those in 5 months? I think what we at least 3,500 parcels.
That's not.
Okay.
That's not good.
Will you have help doing that, or will you?
Well, I mean, I'll probably take, either Lisa or Francine out with me. Originally, I was going to have 2 cars out running.
Right.
But I think personally, I'll just go with either Francine or Lisa. We'll probably take, I'll probably alternate between the 2 of them. Because you really need to. You need someone driving, while the other one's got all the paperwork and writing it down. So that's probably that's what my plans are.
Good.
And it looks good so far. I mean, I'm pleased with everything.
Me too, then. You pleased, I'm pleased. Yeah. Thank you very much, Joe.
Okay.
Have a safe trip home.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Stay warm.
Oh, yeah. And hope your little dog's doing better.
Yeah.
Hey, bring him to work tomorrow. We'll love on him and make him all better.
If I can shut his time and a half.
The next one is, Dennis, why don't you lead us through this one, resolution.
This resolution has to do with the retaining of an appraiser, Molinas Realty, Inc., for purposes of preparing appraisals with regards to 8 parcels of property located within the village and town of Goshen, owned by various individuals and/or corporations, in connection with which we have been unable to resolve based upon any settlement discussions, and based upon our time schedule at the present time. We have to file appraisals by March 18 of this year in regards to all 8 parcels. And in that connection, I solicited and obtained a proposal from Molinas Realty, which they have indicated they would be willing to do the work at a discounted basis for a sum of $20,000 and comply with that particular time schedule. And the resolution so authorizes that.
Would someone like to make a motion regarding this resolution?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Cantorino?
Aye.
Councilman Newbold?
Aye.
Councilman Capella?
Aye.
Supervisor Bloomfield?
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. And that gives you time, Dennis, to get all that ready then?
Yeah, it's going to be pressed because,
I know that.
oh my, I know Phil appreciates the work that goes into appraisals. He's done them before and he's familiar with them. We've got, some of these parcels have 7 to 8 years accumulation.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to be done each year. So multiply that across 8 different parcels, and we're at the 11th hour.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Okay. The next item is approval of the minutes. Would someone like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of work sessions January 10th and January 24th, and regular meeting of January 13th, 2011?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any additions or corrections to the minutes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. This next item is a letter in your package. We had contracted with Broderick Knoll before he became the Department of Public Works Superintendent and then the head of the Water and Sewer Department. We had asked him to be a consultant to develop a permit required for confined space, a program there, and further work on our workplace violence prevention program for the town of Goshen. And we contracted with him for $2,500. And what he has done, he and I were working together on this, and one of the things that we saw that we do not have is we have need for a cardiac defibrillator. We need one here in the town hall, and we need one in the Department of Public Works. We have them associated with police cars, so the police department's ahead of the game. Now, knowing that, he said, let me forego you paying me anything. And the money you were going to pay me apply toward a defibrillator for the town hall and one for the Department of Public Works. And so he and his wife talked about it, Patricia, and he came and gave me this letter, and that's what this is all about. Now, I talked to George Lyons, Councilman Lyons, who is on the town board, but he's also the president of GOVAC. And also Jennifer upstairs in the accounting section. She's an EMT in Warwick. And both of them say they have state-of-the-art defibrillators today for about $1,250. That they're defibrillators for dummies. They show you how to open the box and how to use it. It talks to you, the whole 9 yards. Okay? So that a layperson with no training can use it. And so that's what we're talking about. And so I've asked George, if we pass this tonight, I've asked George and Jennifer to work together to figure out what model to buy and price it up and then come back to us with what it will cost. This is kind of informational for the board because we've got this proposal from Broderick and his wife together on this. So it works out great for us guys. In fact, when I talked to Broderick, and by the way, he had a very good friend of his, Dean Otterkirk, suffered a massive heart attack, blah blah, and his life was saved by this, and that was a good friend of his and a coach in high school, and that's why he sees the value for this. But when I talked to Broderick, I said, you know what? As we all get older, for $1,250, you'd think every home would have one of these things. Unless our spouse didn't particularly care for us. I'm not going to push about that.
This is actually from one woman in the room. You'd have your legs defibrillated.
So anyway.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is, again, George's got the go-do on this, and when he comes back, he's going to share what models and this and that, and we'll do this.
I think I'd just like to make a comment. That's really gracious of Broderick to donate the money that he worked for so that we could buy the defibrillators. That is really, really very gracious. I think we would like to thank him very much for doing that. But secondly, we probably should have some people at least basically trained on this, even though it's a defibrillator for dummies. It's a pretty important piece of apparatus. And I'm just wondering, maybe if George and Jennifer could
Well, I've already asked them. I said, pick out the model and then tell us what we need to do.
Good, perfect.
Because they both know how to use it.
Yeah.
They've used them. Okay. But, how do we do this? I don't want it just open.
Yeah.
Because you could have it over there in a box and not know how to use it, and the person would expire.
Open the box, the person would have to use it and not understand quite what to do.
Exactly, yeah, that's so, even if it's so simple. I would like to know, and I would like to attend something like that.
Okay.
So would I.
Yeah, okay. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
I go along with what Phil said. I think it's very gracious of Rod, with knowing all the, not hours, but weeks he put in as consultant to
Yeah.
workplace violence information for us. And I also want to thank his wife because we're a team
Yeah.
doing this. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also want
Go
to-
for it.
The village has had, I believe, 2 or 3 contributions for these, or that they acquired with contributions.
Right. We have as well, for the police.
You simply cannot have too many of these.
No.
Yeah.
They should be on every municipal vehicle, really.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I would urge you to certainly pass the funds for this, but
Mhm.
also to reach out to the community for contributions, because it's something that people will step up and do.
Good.
And the price has really come down on these.
Right. Good.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, I don't recall the gentleman's name, but in the police department, 2 were purchased by a citizen. At least 2, if not more. Good. All right. I'd like to, one last thing relative to what Lou said. Since I participated to some degree on putting these 2 programs together, I'd say it was probably 40 to 60 hours of his time. I'd have to ask him, but I know myself, I spent 8 hours with him going around on one day. I mean, it was all-encompassing, a great job, very professional. He wrote it all up. We sent it to the state of New York, to the PESH group, personnel and employee safety, it helped, and it was satisfactory, so I feel good. Okay, the next one is woman Rabbit has asked that we schedule, or she's going to schedule it and use this conference room for an informational meeting on February 18th between 2 and 4 p.m. in Town Hall to talk about the upcoming New York State budget from an informational perspective. And so I think that should be a neat thing to attend. I'm going to try to be here for that.
That's a Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Friday, between 2 and 4. The next item is, would someone like to make a motion to authorize the supervisor to pay accounts payable check run on 2/10/11 amounting to $297,051.76?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're now open for privilege of the floor.
He had his privilege already.
I'm
Could I ask,
Sure.
what were the 2 programs that Rod was contracted for?
One was, I'll go back to his letter.
Workplace violence?
I'm going to give you this letter.
Oh, all right, it's in there?
Yes.
Okay.
And one is in the Water and Sewer Department, which Ken and I co-chair. There are a lot of places that you go down. Thank you, Priscilla. There are a lot of places you go. There are confined spaces, like a manhole, where you can get hydrogen gas and other things, nitrogen gas, and you can die if you go down those holes without the proper equipment and training, etc. And he's done all that. He's written up all the safety procedures, inventoried all of these things, etc. And it's very extensive, and this will be ongoing. I'm going to be the chairperson of the security one, and he'll be having the one on the confined entry. And so we'll be meeting once a month on all these things to ensure that we provide the best safe work environment for our employees. Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
Can I just say one thing?
Oh, sure.
So I don't want to make the meeting any longer, but I was checking my notes. I know back in January we welcomed a new highway superintendent to town of Goshen, but I have forgot to thank him publicly. Steve Andershak has, I've been 25, 30 years coming in and out of town hall, and he's done a tremendous job. And I know with recreation, there was nothing he would do for the children.
Yeah.
We wanted him, he was there, so I think I felt bad, I was remiss in not thanking him publicly for, he must have been with at least 30 years.
Yes.
So to Steve and Judy and Jennifer and Steve Jr., I wish them all the best in the future, and thank you so much for the service to the town of Goshen.
Yeah, I would like to join in that appreciation. I didn't realize that we hadn't said
I don't know.
I thought we had, but, I did it personally.
Yeah, we did.
I'm sure we did personally, I just put a post.
Lou and I did it out at the, we
Right.
had a meeting, but thanking you very much for the public.
Yeah, in person.
Very good.
Yeah, okay.
Super.
Yep.
One last thing?
Yes.
Before you go into executive session, obviously you're going to discuss the arbitration vote. Can you tell us anything tonight about the status of the arbitration?
I think so. Can you tell about your meetings you had and whatnot?
Yeah, we've had a number of meetings, and we're scheduled again to meet with the arbitrator on 1 week from today, February 18th. Or was it? Again,
The 18th.
It's the 18th,
Yeah.
February 18th.
Yeah.
That's the next scheduled procedural meeting date. We haven't even commenced a arbitration schedule yet, because there's a lot of details and procedural work we have to agree on.
That's setting the ground rules, and so we all know what to do.
Doug,
Yes.
when those meetings start, are they going to be, the actual arbitration starts, will they be open to the public?
Yeah. To the best of my knowledge, it'll be a decision of the arbitrator. I don't know what decision he would make. We're making arrangements at the present time to obtain space, hopefully on a gratis basis at the county building, be it a courtroom or what they call JHO, Judicial Hearing Office areas where we can conduct this. And it's the arbitrator's call as to whether or not it'll be open. But then that'll be part of the fact, I'll make a note already and make that part of the procedural discussion we'll have probably next Friday, and we'll find out what their preference is.
There will be a recording of it, although.
Yeah, there will be a transcript in any event.
And if they are open, will there be notification to the public to that effect?
I would assume in a public meeting of this nature, we won't advertise.
I mean, we're not going to advertise, but if you're here to hear it, yes.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want 1,800 people there. I mean, that wouldn't be appropriate. But I think for people who are interested.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't even want to hazard a guess as to what the arbitrator's position would be. It's possible that he may want to keep it to a closed arbitration, witnesses only, and he would exclude other witnesses. But I do not know. I hadn't thought of it.
When we find out, you'll find out.
On the Heritage Estates situation, which you're going to discuss tonight,
Right.
at this point, is the agreement with the village, between Heritage and the village, the only thing that is keeping that from being approved at the planning board?
Ask your question again. They're waiting, I think, on the approval, the final approval of the project. Is that what you're asking?
Right. If there's anything other than their business with this board and the...
Yeah, there is. They've got to get through the planning board process.
That was my question, whether or not they were ready to go pending the intermunicipal agreement.
And you know, since you're on the board, Rennie, can you tell how close are they? And they're very close to getting final approval of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they don't have it yet, but they're close.
They don't have it from the planning board yet, right? Oh,
No.
close.
They're close.
Well, okay.
But they're not there yet.
Right, I didn't know if it was conditional upon the final arrangements with sanitation, or if they had other business to resolve.
You know, they've got their contract with the village. We know what it is. We're going to hear tonight from their, we thought we had passed an agreement. Their lawyers put it together for us, and so we'll see that for the first time tonight. Okay. Any other questions? All right, would someone like to make a motion to go into executive session with the intent not to return, to talk about, review the proposed water sewer contract developed between Heritage Estates and the town of Goshen, update the village town sewer arbitration status, update the Time Water franchise contract renewal, discuss vacancies on the Environmental Review Board, Ethics Board, and the Board of Assessment Review.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Folks, thank you again very much for coming.